Hello students, welcome back. Today we are going to discuss some more concepts from reproductive health. Today's concept is contraceptive methods. What are contraceptive methods? Contraceptive methods are defined. The methods used to prevent pregnancy are called contraceptive methods. The characteristics of ideal contraceptives. The ideal contraceptive should have the following characteristics. 1. User friendly. 2. Easily available. 3. Effective, reversible. 4. No or least side effects. That means no side effects or least side effects. No way interferes with sexual drive or maybe sexual intercourse. It should not interferes means it cannot acts as a abstract for this coitus. Different types of contraceptives available for preventing the pregnancy. The following are the different types of contraceptive methods. They are natural methods, barrier methods, intrauterine devices, oral administration or oral contraceptive pills, implants and injections, surgical methods, or the different types of contraceptive methods available for preventing the pregnancy or unwanted pregnancies. So let's discuss each type of contraceptive method. So in that, the first one is natural methods. Natural methods work on the principle of avoiding the chances of ovum meeting the sperm, thereby preventing fusion of gametes or fertilization. There are different ways of natural methods. Now we will discuss about the different ways of natural methods. The first way of natural method is periodic abstinence. Periodic abstinence refers to abstinence from coitus or sexual intercourse from 10th to 17th day of the menstrual cycle when ovulation is expected. The chance of fertilization is a maximum during 10th to 17th day of menstrual cycle. Hence, this period is called fertile period. Abstaining coitus or sexual intercourse during the fertile period is a way to prevent conception or to prevent fertilization. So once recollect the menstrual cycle, it is occurred once in every 28 days. So first few days, that is 3 to 5 days, we will call as the menstruation period, menstrual period or menstruation phase. And the next up to 14 days, that means 6 to 14 days, it is considered as the proliferative phase or follicular phase. And next last 14 days from 15 to 28 days, it is called as secretory phase or maybe luteal phase. And on 14th day it is called as the ovulatory phase. That means ovum is released on 14th day. So here the couple or maybe those who are deserved to involve in coitus, they should not involve in the sexual intercourse from 10th to 17th day of the menstrual cycle, because that is a period expecting the ovulation. So we are already studied that ovum is survive 24 hours in the, there are different conditions in the body. So due to that, sometimes the menstrual cycle may occur earlier or maybe it delay. So that's why the best period to avoid this fertilization is the 10th day to 17th day of menstrual cycle. The second way of natural method is withdrawal or coitus interruptions or interrupts. So in this withdrawal or coitus interrupts, during this method, the male withdraw penis from the vagina before ejaculation, releasing of semen to avoid insemination. So before insemination, the male partner will remove the penis or withdraws the penis from the vagina. So during sexual intercourse, the copulatory organ in male, that is penis, is inserted into the vagina. So in this method, withdrawal method, the male partner need to withdraw the penis from the vagina to avoid that insemination. Insemination is nothing but ejaculation of the semen into the vagina. So to avoid that, they need to withdraw the penis from the vagina. So as ejaculation is done outside after withdrawal, it prevents the release of sperms in the female genital tract. Hence, it prevents the conceptions or fertilization. Lactational amenorrhea. During lactational amenorrhea, the baby is breastfed by mother for a period of about 5 to 6 months. Normally, the ovulation does not occur during this period when the mother feeding the baby through the breast milk. Hence, during this phase, chance of conception, that is fertilization, is almost negligible. This method has been proved to be effective only during intense lactation. So it is effective only when mother is feeding through the breast. The chances of failure may be high as there is no way to judge when body restores the normal cycle, that is restores the menstrual cycle. In this method, the couple cannot expect that when the menstrual cycle will start in the female partner. So that's why the chance of failure of this method is more. Second types of contraceptive methods are barrier methods. These methods are the ones that prevent ovum and sperm to physically meet by keeping a barrier between them. So the barrier can be used by males or females. So during this barrier method, physically they will keep the barrier to avoid the fertilization or maybe fusion of male and female gametes. The barriers used by males. Males can be use condoms as barriers. Condoms are made up of thin rubber or latex sheath and are used to cover the penis in females before coitus, before sexual intercourse. The ejected sperm remain in the condom and do not enter the female genital tract. Hence, it prevents conception or fertilization. Condoms are also used to protect against contracting sexually transmitted diseases like AIDS, hepatitis B, gonorrhea, syphilis, etc. And these condoms are disposable, they are not reusable. So once observed in this given diagram, so it is a condom made up of a rubber or maybe a latex sheet, and this entire the tube like structure, one end it is completely closed, and this is covered on the penis before the sexual intercourse, and during ejaculation the semen is collected in this region, it does not enters into the female genital tract. The barriers used by females. Females can use a number of barriers like condoms, diaphragms, and cervical caps. Female condoms are about 3 inches wide and 7 inches long with a flexible ring at each end. Closed end is placed deep in vagina, so it covers the cervix, and the ring at open end stays outside the vagina. So now let's see the female condom here. So this is about width. It is around 3 inches, and the long of the length of this condom, female condom, is around 7 inches. And one end it is closed, and one end it is open, and it is surrounded by a ring, and the closed end it is inserted into the vagina and it covers the cervix, and the open end it stays outside the vagina. So during sexual intercourse, whatever the insemination is occurred from male partner, that should not reach into the female reproductive tract. So the next barriers in females, that is a diaphragm. It is also made up of a rubber sheath with a flexible metal or maybe spring ring at the margin, which is fitted inside the vagina. So here this one is the diaphragm. It is fitted inside the vagina and it does not allow the inseminated semen into the female reproductive tract. And another one is the cervical cap. It is also made up of rubber and which is fitted over the cervix. Cervix is the mouth of the uterus. So when a semen is inseminated, it passes through vagina and cervix and enters into the uterus. So now, so if you see the below the diagram, this is the vaginal region. So during sexual intercourse, the penis is enters through this vagina, and this insemination is occurred at this region, and the semen is traveled through the cervix. So now this cervical cap is kept at this cervical region. So then it does not allow the sperms to reach into the uterus, that prevent the fertilization. And here the important thing is that the diaphragm and cervical caps or prevent entry of sperm into uterus, and they are reusable, but whereas condoms in male as well as females are not reusable, disposable, but diaphragms and cervical caps are reusable. And another important thing is that along with this diaphragm or cervical caps, or we can simply say that along with this barriers, spermicidal creams, jellies and foams may also be used along with these barriers to stop the entry of sperm into female genital tract. Spermicidal creams, suicide. So spermicidal creams, that means they kill the sperm or they destroy the sperm. So along with these barriers, these spermicidal creams, jellies and foams, if they are used, they work more effectively. The third contraceptive method is intrauterine devices, IUD. These intrauterine devices are inserted by doctors or expert nurses in the uterus through vagina. So there are various types of intrauterine devices. They are non-medical IUDs or intrauterine devices. For that, the example is lips loop, and another one is a copper releasing intrauterine devices. Example for this is copper T, copper 7, multi-load 375. And another type, that is hormone releasing intrauterine devices. Example for this is LNG20, Progestasat, or the examples for this hormone releasing intrauterine devices. So let's discuss about how these three are functioning to prevent this fertilization. So non-medicated intrauterine devices cause a sterile inflammatory response by producing a tissue injury of minor degree but sufficient enough to be spermicidal. So in this non-medicated IUD intrauterine devices, they are inserted sterile plastic. It causes the inflammatory response, that means a swelling, by producing a tissue injury. The tissue, the walls of the tissue in the reproductive tract is damaged in minor degree, that does not give any side effect. Minor degree, that the minor degree damage of tissue is enough to destroy the sperms or to avoid the movement of the sperm, motility of the sperm. And the second type, that is copper releasing intrauterine devices. These are helpful to increase the phagocytosis of sperm within the uterus. That means they kill or destroy the more sperms in the uterus. And the copper ions released from these devices suppress the sperm motility, and the fertilizing capacity of sperm is reduces when motility. Already we discussed during discussion of human reproduction, sperm, 40% of the sperm should have vigorous motility. 60% of the sperm should have the proper morphological structure, and in that 40% of sperm should have vigorous motility. When the motility is declined, then the fertilization capacity of sperms is also declined. And the third one, that is hormone releasing intrauterine devices. So this device consists a hormone that is called as the progestin. It prevents pregnancy mainly by thickening the mucus in the cervix, making it difficult for a sperm to enter the uterus and fertilize the egg or ovum. So generally in cervix there is a mucus is present. It gives the motility to the sperms. When it become thickish, the mucus become thickish, the sperm cannot move vigorously. So then the sperm does not enter into uterus and it cannot reach up to the site of fertilization, that is the ampullary isthmus junction. And the hormone releasing IUDs make the uterus unsuitable for implantation and the cervix hostile to the sperm. So it makes that the hormone present in the IUD, it makes the uterus unsuitable for the implantation. So after fertilization, so on 7th or maybe 8th day, at the stage of morula, that means it will first undergo zygote cleavage divisions without losing that zona pellucida. It undergoes several cleavage divisions. The mass of cells are formed and later it converts into blastula and it is differentiated into trophoblast, the outer side cells, and inner cavity called blastocele, and inner cell mass is present. And at this stage it will comes and implant on the inner wall of the uterus, endometrium. So now this hormone releasing IUD makes unsuitable for that implantation of the embryo. And next, these IUDs are ideal contraceptives for the female who want to delay pregnancy or space between the children. So space between, that means you are all may observed in your family itself. So the children, so first elder one and younger one, there is a gap between. That means elder one may be elder than 2 or 3 years. So that space between the two children is maintained by using these ideal contraceptives, or those who want delay the pregnancy, they will apply these ideal contraceptives, and these ideal contraceptives are more effective than above discussed natural methods or maybe barrier methods. The fourth contraceptive method is oral contraceptive pills. Females often use pills, nothing but tablets, that contain a small dose of either progesterone or a combination of progesterone estrogen to avoid pregnancy. So pills are normally taken after a gap of 7 days from menstruation for 21 days continuously as one pill a day without any break. Pills inhibit or prevent ovulation and also inhibit implantation, the function of the pills. The pills have also been found to have a high success rate and are taken by a large number of females. Saheli is a new contraceptive pill with non-steroid preparation or non-hormonal contraceptive. This pill does not contain any hormone. Already we are given that the pills are having either progesterone or a combination of progesterone and estrogen hormone. But the Saheli is a contraceptive pill without any steroidal or maybe hormones in that. So this Saheli is developed by a Central Drug Research Institute located at Lucknow. So now they develop a molecule that is called as Centroman, which was marketed under the brand name of Saheli. That means it is non-steroid or maybe non-hormonal contraceptive pill. That is Saheli. That Saheli consists a molecule, a chemical molecule that is called as the Centroman. That is the a chemical. It is helpful to prevent that ovulation or maybe implantation. So Saheli is the world's first non-steroidal oral contraceptive pills. It is introduced in the year 1991, and Saheli has very few side effects, and it is used as a safe contraceptive for long-term use. Along with this Saheli and other examples for this oral contraceptive pills are Malady, 72-hour pills, etc. Fifth type of contraceptive method is implants and injection. Implants. Implants are hormone contained devices which are planted subdermally for providing long-term contraception. Example, Norplant. It consists a hormone progestin. Implants are inserted under the skin in a fan-shaped manner inside upper arm or forearm through a small incision. Norplants remain effective for about 5 years. So see here in first statement which is implanted subdermally. That means implanted under skin subdermally, providing long-term contraception. So the example for this is Norplant. Once this Norplant is implanted, it is effective for about 5 years. But whereas previously we have studied this oral contraceptive pills from 7th day to continue up to 21 days, one pill per day. But here once it is implanted, the site of implant is under the skin, that is inside the upper arm or maybe inside the forearm. So once it is implanted, that Norplant will affect you for 5 years. We should not take any other contraceptive methods like intrauterine devices or oral contraceptive or barrier methods or maybe natural methods. This we should not follow once if it is implant. Injection. Depo-provera. It is a synthetic hormone that is injected into the muscles of the upper arm. So the hormone prevent the release of an egg from the ovaries. It also thickens the cervical mucus, which inhibits sperm from moving up the female genital tract. So now here the injection example is a Depo-Provera and implants example is Norplant. So you remember that either injection or maybe implant that is applied in the upper arm or maybe forearm. Why they are choose this site? Because the hormones they consist the hormone. Here Depo-Provera consists the synthetic hormone. It is a synthetic hormone, and Norplant consists the progestin, and these hormones are carried by the blood, transport of blood. So that means it is very near to the site of that organ, that is heart. The circulation is quicker when it is implanted or injected near the upper arm. The last contraceptive method is surgical method. The surgical methods are also called as a sterilization method. They are normally irreversible and are employed as a terminal method to prevent any more pregnancies. These methods block the transport of gamete, thereby prevent the fertilization, conception. So those who are opt this surgical method or maybe sterilization method, so it is a completely stops, terminate or prevent the pregnancies. So that's why during family planning operations, they apply this method. Sterilization methods in males. So the sterilization procedure in male is called vasectomy. In a vasectomy, a small part of vas deferens is tied up or removed through a small incision on the scrotum. So we are studied the structure of male reproductive organ. So let see that the testis and its accessory ducts are located in scrotum. Accessory ducts are reta testis, vas efferentia, epididymis, and this epididymis enters into the abdomen through this vas deferens. So during this vasectomy, a sterilization method in male, they will cut or maybe tied. So they will cut and tie it or maybe completely remove this vas deferens during this vasectomy surgery. So as a result, testis produces the sperms and the sperms are released out through this vas deferens and urethra and it comes out like this. So the sperms produced in testis and it is travel like this vas deferens and it enters into the ejaculatory duct and it comes through this urethra and it releases the out. Now when it cut at this region, vas deferens is removed during this surgery, the semen will not produce. That means the sperms will not reach. So during sexual intercourse, semen is released without sperms because the part of these sperms are breaked here by removing this vas deferens. Whatever the semen is released during sexual intercourse, that consists only seminal plasm that is released by the accessory glands, prostate, seminal vesicles, and bulbourethral glands. But the sperms does not present in that semen. The sterilization method in females. The sterilization procedure in females is called tubectomy. In tubectomy, a small part of fallopian tube removed or tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through vagina. So we are already well known that ovaries are located in the abdominal region only. So in that abdominal region, through this abdomen incision, a small opening, they will cut the fallopian tube and tied it like this on the both sides or maybe removed. So as a result, during this menstrual cycle, so the ovum is released from the ovary in alternate months. So first month if it is released from here and the next cycle it released from here. So now this ovum is collected into the fallopian tube and the sperm is released in front of the cervix and it travel through this uterus and it will reach to the ampullary isthmus junction at this region. So when they will cut this fallopian tube, that too at this isthmus region near to the uterus, the ovum does not reach, or if it is reach into the fallopian tube also, the sperm cannot move to that site of fertilization because this fallopian tube is removed or maybe tied up. The above contraceptive methods, natural, barrier, intrauterine devices, oral contraceptives, implants and injection, and surgical methods. All these six methods can also be classified in a different way as given below based on their function. preventing fusion of gametes. That means contraceptives which prevent the fusion of gametes or fertilization. And second one, the contraceptives which preventing the implantation of the womb. So fertilization is over, but the implantation is prevented. Next, third one is the contraceptives which preventing the gamete release. Gametes does not released. They does not allow to release that gametes. So these are the three categories based on their functioning. Let's check that the contraceptives which are preventing that fusion of gametes. So that is by using condoms by males, they prevent the fertilization. They does not allow the releasing of the sperm into female tract. And by using diaphragm and cervical caps by the females, they are also prevent the fertilization. So along with, we are given the one statement along with that barriers, that is spermicidal creams, jellies or maybe foams, they are also prevent the fertilization. Production of ovum can be suppressed by taking hormones in the form of pills. These are the category comes under this preventing fusion of gametes. That is mostly barrier methods are the useful for preventing the fusion of gametes. The next category, that is contraceptives preventing implantation. So that is intrauterine devices prevent that implantation. And the last category, that is preventing the gamete release. So that is mostly sterilization methods or maybe surgical methods, that is tubectomy in females and vasectomy in males. They prevent a gamete release. For example, vas deferens is tied up, then sperms does not release along with the semen. Only seminal plasma is inseminate into the female tract. There is a one more concept which is not mentioned in our NCERT textbook, that is emergency contraception. So this emergency contraception can safely prevent pregnancy after unprotected sexual intercourse. So emergency contraceptions which are used when the couple or maybe two individuals are involved in unprotected sexual intercourse. So for that, this emergency contraception is required. So this emergency contraception is useful when birth control method is fails. So already we discussed birth control methods are also called as the contraceptive methods. If that contraceptive method is fail when they are used, even though they are used, if it is fails, that is number one. Number two, when no birth control was used. So if they are not use any contraceptive method at that time, this emergency contraception is useful. And when a woman is a victim of forced sex or maybe a rape, at that time the emergency contraception is required to prevent pregnancy. Then methods available for this emergency contraception. We are nearly studied six types of methods here. In that, which one are using for the emergency contraception? So there are two methods are available for this emergency contraceptions. That the first one is emergency contraception pill, that is morning after pill. It contains hormones. So when it need to take, when taken within 72 hours, that means 3 days after unprotected sex, emergency contraception pills are very effective in preventing the pregnancy. So we those who are involved in the sexual intercourse without protection, that means using contraceptive, they know. So such couple immediately within, not a couple, mostly pills are used by the female partner. So they should use this pill that is emergency contraception pill. The name is given as warning after pill. If it is used within 72 hours, it prevent the pregnancy. Second method of emergency contraception is copper IUD. How it will works? A copper IUD can prevent pregnancy if inserted by a health care provider within 120 hours or 5 days after unprotected intercourse or after forced sex or maybe rape. So now a copper IUD, that is here it is mentioned if inserted by a health care provider, that means with a healthcare provider. Here it is either by doctor or maybe expert nurse or consider as the healthcare provider within 120 hours or maybe 5 days. So now already we studied that this copper IUD prevents the implantation. The implantation of embryo is takes place after 7th or maybe 8th day. That means first zygote formation, it undergo the divisions and moving towards the uterus. That movement will takes place nearly 7th or 8th day to implant onto the uterus. So that's why before that 5 days, if they are implant this IUD, intrauterine device, in the uterus, it prevent the implantation of that embryo which is formed in the fallopian tube. Thank you, students. We will discuss some more concepts under this reproductive health in the next part.